Hello, this is Nina, and today we're going to talk about the psychic's tools. So, welcome in, welcome in. Okay, so the first thing I have to say is you can use anything. You can use anything at all to do a psychic reading. You don't need tarot cards, you don't need anything. You can use yourself, of course, just your own, connection with spirit. But many people like to use different tools. But the tools doesn't have to be something you buy. The tools can be that you connect different leaves, and or you can have leaves from a rose, for instance, and you throw it down on a table and you look at the patterns. It can be rice that you put, and you look at the pattern. It can be little rocks that you find and you can just, shake them up and put them down and look at the pattern. It can be, as they read in the old days, teacups, coffee cups. You can read in the hand. There's so many ways of doing readings, but I'm going to go through the most common tools that I use, and then hopefully that will give you something. Okay? So first I'm going to show you this big bowl that I have. It's this big. And on top there's a lid and there's a purpose. The lid is like this. It's just a cardboard lid and I put some glue on the inside. Now what I do is, because this little bowl here is full of charms, okay? So what I do is that I take my hand in the charms bowl, sorry for the noise everybody, and then I just pull out some and I just throw it there on the cardboard, right? I'm just going to put the bowl down. And there you have it. It falls onto this tray, and then I can, there was more than that, and then I can read. I can read the pattern on how they fell, or I can just read the charms itself. So today, for instance, there was a, I don't know if you can see that, but there is a boat here, and there is an angel wing, there's a sword, there's a heart, there is a snowman, and there's a little dog. Okay, so through that I can make a reading, but no matter what tool I use, it all depends on where I am guided. So you have to be connected. You have to have done some meditation before you start the reading, and you have to feel that connection. And so you just listen and you just feel where you're drawn. And then it's like, okay, I'm drawn to the snowman here. So for me, that's something about winter. It can be also about building blocks, one on top of the other. It can be about patience. It takes time to build a snowman. Where are you being drawn? There's a sword here, okay? Is it the sword of truth? Is it somebody, is it about cutting the cords? Is it about, somebody being stabbed in the back? You have to feel. There's a heart here. Is it love from the universe? Is it a new love coming into their life? Is it that they're having trouble with their love life? Feel into that. There's a dog here. Does that mean that the person have a dog, or does it mean that they are longing for a dog? Does it mean that they should maybe just be around animals, or do they know somebody with a dog? Is this new love coming in? Maybe has a dog. Feel into what makes sense. There's an angel wing. That person is probably watched over by angels, or maybe they're communicating with angels. Maybe they want to communicate with angels. There's so many ways of looking at this. And there's a boat. Is it about travel? Is it about they like boating? They love the ocean. It can be many things. And you have to use your intuition as to where that drives you, where that pulls you. Okay? You're being pulled by spirit to the direction you need to go. Okay? So that's one way of doing readings, okay? Now, let me just continue with this tray because I have another thing. And then I have this felt that I also cut out that I put inside of this tray. And then I have made this little mini bowl of crystals, and each crystal represents the different chakras, except for this crystal, which represents the person. Then I take the crystals onto my hand, and I shake, and I drop into the tray. All right, it looks like that. And then I see that the person is here, and then I see where the different colors or crystals are close to the person or not. So the orange crystal ended up all the way over here, which is representative for the sacral chakra, which is representative for creation. It can be sensuality. being creative is very much that energy. So when that is very far away from the person, maybe that person is not using their creativity at this moment, or maybe they are longing to use their creativity. Maybe that's they want to start working with something that they really love doing instead of something that they have to do. You can read that in many ways. And so the other crystals are around like so, and I would look at, okay, how far are they away from the person, which is the closest one. That's probably what they have a lot of in their life right now, and that is the yellow one, which is the solar plexus, which is energy. So they have the energy to do something, but since the orange is far away, maybe they are not doing what they should do, meaning they're not following their passion. Okay, so that might be something. And then it could be that some crystals are blocking some other crystals, so that might have something to do as well. That might have something to say, like the light blue, which for me is the throat chakra, is kind of blocked by the third eye and the solar plexus chakra stones here. So that might tell you that, yes, you're seeing things and you're feeling things, but you're not voicing it. Okay, so for somebody who's doing like, maybe who are on a spiritual journey, maybe they should start doing readings to people, or maybe they should start trusting what they get and actually sharing what they get. For instance, that's the way of looking at that. So this is another way of doing a reading, and it can be done in so many different ways. Of course, sometimes when it comes to crystals, what I do is when I have a pick a card reading, I put different crystals on top of the different cards. And then when I do the reading, I hold on to the crystal, and I can see things in the crystal, or I can just feel things coming to me through the crystal as well. So I don't only read the cards, but I very often also read the crystal. So there's many different ways of using crystals in a reading. Okay, so that was one way. And of course, this doesn't have to be crystals. As I said, you can have this board and you can throw rice there. You can throw petals or leaves or rocks or whatever you want on a tray. And you can look at the patterns and you can look at things that just come to you. Okay, so that's one thing, tool that I use. Now, let us go over to another tool that's really fun. This is the rods. Okay, have you seen these before? You hold them up like so, and they are supposed to be just straight, and then you have to ask Spirit, give me a yes, and then they will cross for me. That's what they do now, see? And then I have to give them a no, and then they will go out. That's a yes and no for me. With my daughter, it's opposite, okay? So you have to ask the rods first. Give me a yes, give me a no. And then you can start asking questions and they will answer, right? Yes or no. So that's another way of doing a reading, okay? Now, another way of yes and no is, of course, where did that go? Am I sitting on it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Where did it go? I was sure I had it here. I'm so sorry. Where did I put that? I had it on my... Yeah, there it is. I'm sitting on it. Oh my God. I'm so sorry. Okay. A pendulum. Okay. I knew I had it somewhere. I was sitting on it. So the pendulum is the same way. You have to ask for a yes or a no. Some have yes that way and no this way. Some have yes that way around and no that way. Some will just have a very, tingling or energy kind of burst. So you have to ask first, okay, give me a yes, give me a no. For me, it is very often, give me a yes. I'm trying to hold it still. Give me a yes. Yeah, it's rotating to the right. So for me, the rotation to the right is a yes, the rotation to the left is a no. And so you ask questions. And this is, simple, easy breezy things to use in a reading as well. So that's another way I do readings sometimes. I've done some pick a card readings where I put, because I have 3 different pendulums, so I put 3 different pendulums on the cards, and I in the end of a reading I say, okay, think about a yes or no question, and then, they get an answer. But very often, if you do that, you also have to explain that if you get a no, it doesn't have to be negative, because it can be a no because something better will come to you. So you have to kind of... make sure that you tell people that a blunt yes or a blunt no isn't always, you know, that's, how can I say this? It isn't always that's it and nothing else will happen. There is a reason for an answer like that. So just to have that said. Okay, and then of course I also use cards. So I use tarot cards, I use oracle cards. So let's do the oracle cards first. Now the oracle cards for me, I have very many different kinds of oracle cards. I am almost embarrassed to tell you that I have almost 500 cards together with the tarot and oracle cards. I have another channel also where I do readings, card readings and stuff. It's called The Happy Hippie Intuitive. I haven't linked it from this channel. I don't really know why, but I haven't. But anyways, but I might do that now in this video. I can put it as a link below or up here or whatever for you to find. But anyways, so I do a lot of readings, and so when it comes to the the oracle cards, I have a lot of different oracle cards. Some of them have a lot of text on them, and some of them doesn't have any text at all. It's just an image, and those are almost my favorite ones, because then you really have to get into your intuition. You really have to dig deep into your intuition to be able to feel and listen and see the message. Okay, so that's a very good way to practice that muscle of psychic muscle. So that's that. But you know, today I just brought this Keepers of the Light oracle cards with me to show, and of course it's very easy. In the beginning you can just pull one card, you know, for yourself, and then get to know your deck or get to know the meaning behind the card. Well, there's a little big fly flying around here now. As I got something in my throat, so there's probably a message here. Okay. Supreme protection. Okay. Okay, so I got the message now that remember that you're always protected when you are doing this work. Okay, so that was the message for you. So don't be afraid of dipping your toe into this psychic world. You are always protected by your higher self. Okay? So that was a message. That was why it came. Thank you. So you can read, of course, into the image itself. You can read just the... very often there is at least one word or one short message. You can read only that, or you can read the message down here, or there might be a word in this, you know, here, for instance, you know. There might be one word that you're drawn to in this, right? And that, but because you have to use your feelings as to where you're drawn. So, like here, I'm drawn to the word protected, you know, and then there was a message saying you are always protected, and so I had to convey that, right? So it's like you have to be open, and as I said before, you have to have meditated or I mean, after a while you're there right away, but in the beginning, if you're new, you have to take your time to meditate and really get in connection before you start doing a reading. So but then you get the feeling as to where you get drawn. Okay, what word you're drawn to, what maybe it's the colors in the card, maybe it's just one of the images in the card that you get drawn to. Because sometimes when we do a reading, you get a card and it's like, oh, this doesn't make sense with whatever I've said before. But then all of a sudden you get drawn to something. It's like, okay, I get it now, right? So that's why you have to be really connected in order to do that. So that's the oracle cards. And in the beginning, as I said, you can do one card for yourself, and then you can do 3 cards together and see maybe a timeline, or, you know, hello, kitty. You coming to visit me? Yeah, hey. Yeah. Good to come up. Yeah, that's my cat. She's coming here. She's feeling a bit lonely. Yeah. You want some cuddling? We can do that later. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, purr. Of course she had to come now. Okay, anyways, the last of the thing I'm going to show you is the tarot. And this is just a normal Rider-Waite tarot deck. And learning the tarot is, you can do it many ways. You can, of course, read the book. There's always a booklet with the cards when you buy them, especially the Rider-Waite. And there's also bigger books that you can really study to get into the tarot and learn it that way. And then you just study one card and you take your time and learn it that way. Some people use the tarot solely on intuition. Okay, they kind of interpret them their own way. For me, I feel like a combination might be the best way to go. It is at least what has been working best for me. So I kind of learned it by dividing it, because the tarot deck consists of 4 suits and a major arcana. So it's the minor arcana is 4 suits and then a major arcana. The major arcana is kind of the bigger events in your life. Some people say that the major arcana is kind of your life from the Fool, which is the number 0, to the 21, which is the world full circle, which is kind of your lifespan and everything that happens in your life. So you can look upon it that way if you want to. But for me, I don't use it that way. It all depends on all the cards that's beside it, right? But in general, the major arcana is the major things happening in your life, kind of the destined things, if you will. And the minor arcana is kind of more everyday life kind of stuff going on. And the 4 suits, I started, when I was learning about tarot, I started first with the major arcana. That's kind of easy to understand. It's more the minor arcana that is a more issue to understand. And I started, for me, the easiest one to understand of the suits was the swords, okay? Because the swords are very straightforward, showing you on the picture what the card is about. It's kind of easy to recognize. The cards that I struggled with the most was the court cards, okay? The page, the knights, the queens, and the kings. So it can represent, of course, the different, the different elements, which again represents different zodiac signs. Sorry, stumbling in my words. It can represent different zodiac signs, or it can represents different people in a fire sign or an earth sign or a water sign or whatever. But it can also represent an energy where you're in right now, or energies coming towards you. So this is something you have to choose the way you use it, or you have to feel into what it means in this particular reading. Okay, so learning about the tarot, there are so many out there who have made videos about how to learn the tarot, and I'm not going to make that, at least I'm not on this channel. But I was thinking about maybe doing it on the other channel, which is more about cards, that I will get into how I read tarot. I haven't made it yet, but I'm thinking about maybe making it. So you can keep an eye out if you want to learn more about cards and tarot on that channel. But I will link that channel here so you can find it, okay? So that's that. Now, there are also other ways of doing readings, other things you can use that I haven't mentioned and I haven't brought with me because it's not that easy to bring with me. One thing is, for instance, a water bowl. Okay, that was a very interesting thing that I learned when I was working with Lisa Williams at her school. I was a teacher at her school for a while, took the master teacher education with her. But anyway, so what we did is that, you have a bowl, a kind of a bowl that can be just a salad bowl or whatever, and you have clean water, and you pour the clean water in there, and then you have whomever you are wanting to read put their hands into the water and have them imagine that they're letting go of their energies into the water, okay? And then you, as the reader, come up to the bowl afterwards. You put your hands into the bowl and you imagine yourself pulling those energies up through your arms into your form, and you start reading, okay? And that was a very interesting thing, because water for me is very, it's connected to the emotional system, and you feel it very much. That kind of reading you feel very much. So if you're a reader who senses in that way, that you feel a lot of stuff, then maybe that will be a brilliant way of doing readings for you, right? But as I said in the beginning, you can read anything. You can use any tool, and you can also use a normal card deck, like playing cards, because the playing cards can be it's one card less than the normal minor arcana in the tarot, but it can still be used as a tarot deck. And, you know, the tarot deck kind of comes from, or is it the other way around? But they are paired together somehow in history. And you can say that the hearts are the cups, and the diamonds are the pentacles, the spades are the swords, because they have that, you know, on top, and then the clover is the wands. So you can use that as well as a tarot deck. So if you are somewhere and people say, oh, can you do a reading on me, and you don't bring your cards, ask if they have some playing cards, and you can do a reading anyways. If you have learned the tarot, you can do that. Okay, so that's the way of doing it. So, but again, I have to come back to the point that you really don't need any tools, right? It's a way in. It's a way to practice. You know, but you don't really need it, because who's doing the reading is actually you. You know, your soul, your higher self is doing the reading, really. But the tools is just a way in and a way to practice. I remember also I started, before I took the education with Lisa Williams and working at her school, I did an education with another medium, because I was doing medium training also, with Iris Hall, who is a British, or was a British medium. She's passed away, sadly. And when we were doing her workshops, we used ribbons. And we had these ribbons, short and long and very different colors, on the table. And then we asked the one who was getting the reading to pull blindly 3 ribbons and hand it to whomever they wanted to do their reading. And so you get handed the ribbons, and you feel into the ribbons. You look at the colors, you look at the length, you look, is it whole, or is it starting to, you know, rattle up, or unravel a little bit, and then you feel, right, into what does this mean. We also used, you know, I think it is in Word, on your computer, if you go into Word, that they have all these images that you can use, you know, or to copy paste into a document. If you're making an invitation or whatever, you can use all these images that's already on your computer. So what they had done is that they have printed out a whole bunch of those images and cut them up into pieces, and then they put them face down on a table, and then they asked one person to blindly pick 3, and then again hand it to somebody who they wanted to do their reading. And so you look at the images, and then you do a reading. Right? So there's so many ways of doing, using tools to enhance your spiritual gift. Okay? But again, you don't need them. You really don't need them. But it is a way to strengthen that muscle. And it might be easier in the beginning to have some sort of tools to rely on while you are working on that muscle. Okay? I think that was it. If you have any questions, please comment below, and I will try and answer them. And next time we will talk about mediumship, and then I will talk about channeling, and I will also do a video on healing. So there you go. That was it for today. I hope this helped. Thank you so much for participating. Till the next time, I see you.